Everywhere, GBS.
The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I'm your host Eunice Mugo. Today on the show we are talking about white collar jobs versus entrepreneurship. What do you prefer as a person? Are you a white collar person or are you a business oriented person? Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. I'm not alone. Together with me I have guests who are going to help us to understand better between understanding the two dimensions and also help us to be able to make concrete decisions for the young ones and also those who are growing to aspire in between and choosing in between the two. I will allow them to introduce themselves. Welcome guests. Maybe we can start from this side.
Good afternoon. Is it an afternoon?
Generally.
Abigail Chepkorir Ngeno. I'm a technical trainer, lecturer at Mahani College. Thank you.
You're welcome to the show and to you, sir.
Thank you, Eunice. Morning, viewers. My name is Benjamin Mudoka. I'm a mind education specialist.
Welcome on the show. And to you.
Thank you, Eunice. My name is Sarah Muthoni, and I'm a student at Mahani College.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
To start with, just the topic, white collar jobs versus entrepreneurship. Maybe to start with you as a lecturer.
Yes.
What is the difference between the two, especially when you're talking to your students or when you're interacting with them during the career day? What do you tell them? What is white collar jobs all entails and what is entrepreneurship that all entails?
Okay, all along when you mention white collar jobs, the first thing that comes into your mind is maybe being in an office. You'd mention professions such as lawyers, accountants, we have actuarial scientists, doctors. Yeah, then we have the other side, self-employment. Yeah, then you go deep into self-employment or entrepreneurship where you're running your own business. Either be it you're a sole proprietor, you are into partnership or you are into public companies. Yes.
Interesting. To you as a student, what would you say is your niche of interest, or rather, when you're listening to this career guidance and when you're interacting with your teachers, where would you place yourself? Would you say you're more of an entrepreneur or a white collar person?
I think for both the entrepreneurs and the white collar jobs, the one main agenda we all have is to make money.
Sure.
So whatever path or direction you take, your main goal is to make money. But according to me, I feel like people in my generation are focusing more on entrepreneurship because you feel like you can run your own business on your own terms compared to white collar jobs.
Interesting. You've mentioned something very interesting, the freedom. We are all looking for freedom. Actually, when you're going online, we're having people who are just saying how to make easy money online, how to make blah, blah, blah. You just want to make money, like she has stated, but also how you're making it. It's what is making it different. Now, the freedom. Why are we looking for freedom?
Okay. Especially if you are in Nairobi, it will take you maybe 2 to 3 hours to get to your place of employment. For example, if you are supposed to report at 7:30, basically you have to wake up at 4, 5 or 6 to make it to work at 7:30. You see, for this generation, for the young generation, it's really hard to make it to work at such a time. So that's why most of them are opting into self-employment. Some companies, I'm happy that now we have some companies that allow their employees to get in at 9 a.m. And ironically, those are the multinationals. It's rare that we have our own country people or our own allowing the employees to work at 7:30 and 8. Most of them allow them at 8. Yes, that's why most people are opting into self-employment. Yes.
Something that we've mentioned very interesting. Our own are not allowing.
Yeah.
Why is that, and why can't we adapt to the multinational?
Now, I'd get back to the labor laws and our own Kenyan system, where you'd allow a worker to be at work for 8 hours. So basically, you'd have to be at work at 8 and leave at 5. But you see, from the International Labor Organization, they are flexible. You find you can allow your employee to come up at 9 and stay into late hours. You see, it will be flexible. Yeah.
So it's flexibility
Yeah.
that we lack.
It will lack flexibility.
But is that not limitation?
It is a limitation that we should work on. You see, most parents have to drop their kids. You even see some parents dropping nursery kids as early as 6 a.m. Now you wonder what they are going to do. As early as 6 a.m. Are they going to paint in school early that time? Yes.
Well, interesting. What is your take on the same?
I feel like growing up, or like what we've had, most CEOs, or rather the managers, they come in at 10. And as an employee, you're supposed to come in at 8. So you wonder like why. It's a business. I understand they make the rules. But why are they allowed to come at this certain time? And us, we have to battle traffic in the morning. We have to wake up early. As she said, people have like prior commitments before you go to work. Some people have kids. They have to drop them to school. Some people, like for example, radio stations that are up and running by like 6 a.m. They already have like other commitments that they're in. And then you find somebody is coming in at 10. I feel like for me, it's not a major issue, but it will disturb my mind. Like, why am I supposed to come this early when somebody is taking their sweet time and working how they want to work?
I stand to be corrected when she's saying that. I'm thinking, and when you're interacting with these CEOs, with these leaders and everyone, they tell you, I might report to the office at 10, yes, but what I'm doing, or at what time I woke up earlier than you. By 3, I'm up doing meetings and follow-ups and clients and ABCD. But by the time you're seeing me in the office, we all assume that ameamka 9, anaingia kwa ofisi 10, ama ataamka 10, aingia kwa ofisi 11. Is that generally what happens, or is it just the wrong perspective that we have?
It is a wrong perspective. I wouldn't want to rely on the CEOs since I'm an employee. So I don't want the same to be translated to the employees also. If you can have me at the place of work for 8 hours and the work can be done at 4 hours, why can't it be it? Just like the CEO or the manager? Yes.
Interesting. What is your take on the same, Mr. Benjamin? From a mind perspective, from a mind education perspective, when you hear these two ladies talk, as a student, as a lecturer?
You know, everything starts from somewhere. And there is, I think you know it, there is the verse that I always quote because it came from the most wise person in this world. And it says, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. I'm telling you, all the issues of life that you see, whether at work, in school, society, everywhere, families, they all emanate from the hearts of people. The biggest problem is not people working or people not working. The biggest problem is that people do not understand the world of their heart. The world of their heart is that world that is unseen. It's something that you cannot tell. You know, for example, like my dear sister here, she spoke about something which is very important. But now, she has a phone. If this, for example, this phone spoiled, she cannot make it. Yes, she's a lecturer, but she cannot do it. Isn't it?
Sure.
My sister here also, even she cannot make her hair very well. She has to go to the salon, isn't it? Which means man has been limited to some things that he cannot do by himself. That's why he needs to learn. You know, we talk about the great CEOs and managers in the companies and owners of the companies. These people, I realized that they possess one character which is very important, and that is the mind to listen. The mind to listen. But when I look at many people, and especially the young people, they don't have the mind to listen, they never listen. But also they're very lazy. They don't want to work, but they want quick money. This is one thing. And because of the kidogo knowledge that they get, they tend to think like, I need to be in the position of the CEO in one day or in 1 week. What is the biggest problem? You know, we have, you know, the world is changing. The world is changing. And even the economic growth, you know, there are things that we used to do 5 years ago that we cannot do now. When you do them, you feel like, why am I doing this? It's not important to me anymore. So as the world grows, there is something that is in the world of the heart which is unseen, which is growing more faster than the economic growth, and that is the desire in the heart of a man. You know, one of the reasons why people will complain while they are working, it is simply because their desire is growing more bigger than their ability or what they're earning from the company. And out of this, because mostly I normally say like this, you have a very good car like a Mercedes. Which car is very good for you?
Range Rover.
Range Rover. But if that car is a very good car, I don't know why you like it, but I think you like the functions of that car. For example, if you have that car and it has so good functions, but you really do not know how to use that car, not even, or even the functions, then it is good for nothing. And then God gave us something more precious and special, which is the heart of man. And there is where now King Solomon was able to see and say, guard that heart with all diligence, because out of that heart are the issues of life. Whether good or bad, they all originate from the heart of man. So how can we control? How can we control this? That means we need to learn the world of the heart, how to control. That is, you know, yes, there is desire, but still we need to have self-control because the desire is in us. We need to have self-control. And out of self-control, we also get discipline. There are many people who are working, but they are working simply because I'm employed, that's why I'm working. But deep inside your heart, there is no thankfulness whatsoever. No, I don't know whether you have gone to a company. One time I went to Korea, and then we got to meet with some staff from a certain company. Then they were very happy. And the reason why they were very happy, it is simply because they were very thankful. You know, there is this one, is like a more motivational speaker and a salesman. His name is Zig Ziglar. There is a quote that I really like that he quoted somewhere. And then he said like this, I have never seen a happy man who does not know how to be thankful. For sure, if you're thankful from your heart, happiness comes automatically. So I have people complaining. People complain about work. People complain about school. People complain about their families. People complain about anything and surrounding that is around them. Simply because of one thing. They never have a thankful heart in them. You know, I think I'll get time and then I'll talk about a story. There is one story that I was given by a wise man about being thankful. No, the reason why we are thankful, it is simply because there is a place where I was and somebody came and helped me. But, the issues of the heart, you know, I don't know whether, Eunice, you can understand what I'm trying to say. But wisdom does not come from books. Knowledge comes from books, but wisdom does not come from books. Wisdom comes from the Creator. And that's why Solomon was very wise. David was very wise. Why? They connected. Where did they connect? Their hearts connected somewhere. That's why when God was choosing David to become the king, he said, I have found a man after my own heart. Which means the moment you connect with the heart of God, the wisdom of God flows in you. And then from there, you gain a thankful heart. That's why it doesn't matter the environment, but you can always be thankful.
Interesting. It doesn't matter the environment, but you can always be thankful. Amidst being thankful and complaining that you've mentioned, when you are talking about white-collar jobs and entrepreneurship, to you, teacher, mostly in the white-collar jobs, this is where you'll find people complaining.
Yes.
Because of the limitations and the expectations.
Yes.
Like we all agree that with the young generation that we are in today, they want to get rich very fast and omit the process.
Yes.
But again, even those who have been there before and have gone through the process, you also hear them complain. Very few are grateful after they have achieved the goal after so long and many years of perseverance. Why do we always have this complaint? Because I'm trying to look at it this way. If I like being a doctor and I am a doctor, then why should I complain? If you like being a teacher and you are a teacher, then why should you complain? What makes us complain every now and then, especially in the white-collar job sector? Or rather, to put it correctly, in the employment sector?
Okay. The first thing that comes to my mind is over-expectation. The moment you are in school, you know that you're studying law, then you think that once you graduate, you get maybe a 5-figure salary, a 6-figure salary. If you're an accountant, even without the certifications, you just graduated, maybe you are now, you finish school at 17, you graduate at 21. You just have a degree in accounting, and you think now you'll get maybe 300,000 and above, and yet you don't even have the certification. You see, you'd have to study hard, work, get some experience so that you can get the expected salary. Now it comes that even after you've attained those qualifications, the heart, as our pastor said, that the heart has a problem. If you don't draw a line with self-control and contentment, you'll end up you'll think that working for the government is good. You'll get a government job. Then you'll find out that the salary is not even enough. Then you think, now, let me go for an NGO. You go to an NGO, maybe it will be better. Then sometimes again, you will think, no, people in the United States or Canada are even paid better. So you'll end up working across countries. Our generation now, you'd even have people changing professions. You can be a lawyer, then maybe go again, you be a doctor. You just undecided. That's the generation that we have, yes.
What makes us to be undecided? Because I'm trying to think now, this one I can bring to you. What makes the young people be undecided as you go for a break? For this extent of what teacher has shared, of changing career, I've interacted with people who tells me I did programming and political science, but I'm a doctor, or I did doctor, but I'm a HR, or I did HR, but I'm a journalist. I mean, we either go back to school or we are presented with opportunities way different from what we studied. What makes us not per se stick to it and even if you're not presented with the opportunities, what makes us shift in terms of, I've studied computer science, now I'm doing journalism, next time you hear me, I'm in school, I'm doing doctor, even changing careers, having so many crowns, but yet again, not settled or growing one specific thing. I'd want you to talk about that when you come back after the break. Viewer, I hope you're learning as much as I am. Interact with us across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.
Hello everyone! Welcome to Fun Art Class. Then you're done with the butterfly.
Today we are talking about toxic masculinity.
People who have a right heart, they have main characters. Number one, they don't listen to other people. True wisdom is to know your shortcomings. Why is it that true wisdom is to know your shortcomings? The moment you realize that you have weakness,
So through the four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our
죄를
sins.
지셨고
He carried our sins,
십자가에 못 박혀 주고 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment for sins,
무덤에 들어가셨다가
and he was put into the tomb
사흘 만에 부활하셨습니다.
and resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being crucified.
우리 죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
예수님 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu cha Jamii. Today we are talking about white-collar jobs versus entrepreneurship. What is your take on that? Do you prefer white-collar job or do you prefer entrepreneur? Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So before we went on a break, I had asked you a question. I'd want to hear what is your take on that.
You remember prior you said, I like being a doctor. Or like, why did I study like medicine and I'm not in my doctor line? Passion.
Yes.
My simple answer is passion. We tend to do things with money-oriented minds. Like, I'm doing this because I want this kind of money, but you're not doing what you like. But the minute you do what you like or you do something that you enjoy doing, thankfulness comes in because you know your heart is there, regardless of the money that comes in. And yes, as humans, we have the desire to do more or like be more, or like we have expectations for ourselves that are so high that what you like doing maybe can't maintain your standards. You know what I mean? So that's why you find people going to career lines that they're not happy or they're not contented in.
When you say contentment, I'm now thinking, this is out of context. It's like this memes za kusema tutakula mapenzi. So my question is,
Of course you can't.
yeah? Contentment inaleta pesa kwa meza? No, sorry for asking that.
Yeah,
but now I'm trying to think, okay, fine, contentment should be the case. But again, I'm contented with me being a doctor. I'm contented with me being a HR. Whatever the career, I'm contented, yes. But it's not paying me well. Bills are here, escalating. Kids are here and everything else. They're all looking up to me and the little salo I'm having. What do I do about that?
Why don't you start your own business in what you like? That's where entrepreneurship comes in. You're from a white-collar job. Let's say you don't enjoy what you're doing. Maybe, let's say you work in a corporate
No, I'm
industry.
enjoying what I'm doing, but it's not paying me well.
Then start it. If, like for example, as she said, she's an HR, yeah? Start a HR firm. You'll get the money you want. Unless you want to build yourself like that before you enter entrepreneurship, then maybe changing your career line or your course. Yeah, maybe that's allowed.
As I dwell onto you more, I'm not trying to think every time that you're saying. Now, I start an entrepreneur business. Correct me?
Yes.
When you are doing business, we know. If I'm in a white-collar job, I know I'm expecting this hello by the end of the month. 5, 6, whatever figures. But for a business, I'm not certain. And if I'm starting, then I'm not expecting to get something in return until that business it's in its own feet.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take to get in its own feet?
A business is a risk.
Exactly.
Exactly. But
Now it's a risk. Is it a risk that I'm willing to take? Because now, I remember we are talking about I'm contented with what I'm doing, but it's not paying me. So the money is the problem, right? And here again, it's an advice of getting myself into entrepreneurship or a business. So for one, I don't have the money, right? It's a risk. What am I risking in the first place?
Profit or
Risking.
losses.
Exactly.
You see, when you're getting into a business, we have two things in mind. It can either pick, get you profits, or it fails to work, then get you losses. So supposing you've put 2 million from your loan from the job, isn't that a risk? That is a big risk.
The risk part of it, I'm seeing
Yes.
it. And if it succeeds, I'm seeing
A
me
lot of
celebrating.
profit, yes.
If it fails, I'm seeing a lot of debt to be paid.
Yes, but
True.
you can dust up yourself and start again.
Wow.
Yes.
There to start again. I'm still not getting, the point is not yet home from where I'm seated. Because here, I'm changing from accountant or from HR to accountant or from accountant to a doctor simply because of the finances.
Yes.
I'm seeing an opportunity of working to that company or that institution and I'll be earning 6 or 7 figures
Yes.
better than what I'm doing currently. So where is the money to risk in the first place if I'm struggling with this salary?
there's loans, there's partnership.
Then why not go for this uncomfortable job that I'll be complaining for the next 5, 10 years and establish myself better without that huge loan?
That's why we say for everything to come, you should get out from your comfort zone. Yes.
But is it that not getting out of my comfort
Eunice,
zone?
I think this is very clear.
I didn't want you to talk
and
first.
then
I
it-
wanted to get their mind first before I engage.
And then it
because
brings
it's-
two
yours
things.
it's a deal break.
Two things. It's either you have a strong heart or you have a very weak heart. And now, that's where now I need to talk about something which is very important. And that is the function of the heart.
Sure.
In the function of the heart, we have several things that we need to talk about, think about. But number one, Do you really understand the world of the heart before we talk about the functions of the heart? You don't know a car, and then you're talking about the functions of the car. You need first to know, isn't it? That's why you need to get deeper to the world of the heart, and then you understand yourself.
Let me interrupt you a little bit as you continue to give us that point. I'm grateful that every time we get to have a show, I learn from you a lot. From a viewer's perspective, who also get the chance to learn and listen to you, they do not know the world of the heart.
True.
When you talk about the world of the heart, even without going globally, in Kenya, what is the ratio of the people who would say they know the world of the heart? Because by the end of the day, I'm trying to think as this normal, just a normal, sensible person who is thinking the way I'm thinking today,
And for me,
right now. And I don't know the world of the heart. So even if you come to talk to me and tell me about the world of the heart, I'll be like, what are you talking about in
and
the
that's
first
why,
place?
that's why we have Chungu cha Jamii, and that's why I'm here to talk about the world of the heart.
Okay, I rest my case.
And that's why, when we talk about the world of the heart, we need to understand one major thing, that the world of the heart has its own blueprint.
Sure.
Because if I want to understand how to use my mobile phone, the phone comes with
A manual.
a manual, isn't it? But let me ask you, what is the manual of the heart?
The Bible.
The Bible. How many people read the Bible? How many people think about God? How many people think about, Eunice, let me tell you one thing. Let's come back to what we are discussing. A person who has to complain, they will always complain. Give them what, they will complain. A person who has already learned the world of the heart and is thankful, they are thankful even for the smallest things that you give to them. By any chance, did you ever take a person out for tea, and then when you come out, they think it's a normal thing? They never even say thank you. They think, Eunice has to understand the way I behave, she has to understand that I'm thankful. And even when she comes out of that place, she starts complaining. Eunice hakuona hoteli ingine ya maana, ni hii tu ameona tunaweza enda. Watu mbona wakapika chai inakaa hivi? Simply because these people, in their heart, they have only one side to complain. And that's why I need to talk about my story. It happened that there was a man who was so miserable. So miserable. And the rich people don't talk to people that easily. So one rich man came there, and then he was so much concerned because the guy was so miserable. Ananyeshewa, he had nothing, completely nothing. And then he took him and he gave him one structure. Yes, it's a good structure because it has a bed and a chair and a table. He gave him that. Not only that, he took him to his own mansion and then told him, you are going to be coming for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. And then every time you come, you go back to sleep. Did he have a house where he can live? No. Did he have a bed? No. Did he have a chair? No. Nothing. Then he was so thankful that he was only crying. Akikula analia tu. But after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he started to think about something. When I look at this house, there are so many beautiful rooms, and how come this guy has given me a structure that looks like a pig's pen? He's so unfair that he cannot give me one room here. And then he started to complain. The rich man realized one thing. This guy, he lost the first heart that was so thankful. You understand? And then he decided to do something. He came back to the guy and then he told him like this, kuku zangu nimeona zinanyeshewa sana, ningependa zikuje zikae hapo na wewe. So the first time he brought chicken. Kidogo, The guy was still complaining, why did you bring, now you're bringing chicken to stay with me. I mean, and then he brought a goat. He was complaining, hey, you know, you brought a goat. Ah, okay. The next day, he brought a sheep. The guy was so mad. This one. Then the next day, he brought a cow. Now the house becomes so smaller and noisy and smelling, isn't it? And then he realized the guy now became so mad until he was asking him, what do you take me for? And then he brought a dog. Now you can imagine that fight between Kuku Mbuzi. You know, that guy, that day when he went for dinner, he knelt down and then he was pleading with the rich man, please, please, I beg you. Toa tu mbo. Now the rich man realized, now he's getting that heart, the first heart that he had from before. And then, akatoa zote. He was so thankful. I'm telling you, people who are not thankful, give them what, they will complain. The reason is only one. Eunice, for sure many people, they're thinking that their contentment can come from money. Yes, money is very good. And even the Bible talks about money. It says that wisdom is a defense, money also is a defense, but it talks about something which is very key. And it says, but the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom gives life to them that have it. Wisdom does not come from the books. Wisdom comes from God. And then, you know, when you get wisdom, true wisdom, you know, the founder of Mind Education, he says like this, true wisdom is to know your shortcomings. Number one, the reason why you want to try this and try that and try this and try that and try that and try that, it's simply because of one thing. You do not know your shortcomings. That's why you try this, it fails, and then you think, I did not do better. You try this, it fails, and then you think, I did not do better. You're complaining everywhere. I give you work, you're complaining. You're given work at Safaricom, you'll be complaining. You're given work in a bank, you'll be complaining still. You're saying, this, you know, simply because of one thing. Your heart, in your heart, there is the formation of the heart that is in you, which is you do not have wisdom. Wisdom is to know your shortcomings. The moment you know your shortcomings, your ears are open to listen to other people. That's why great CEOs are great listeners. These big companies that you see, when you meet with the owners, they are very good listeners. They want to listen to you because they know, as I listen to Eunice, I can learn something. But one of the questions that we need to ask ourselves, everybody, for us here and the viewers, is, do I really listen? Am I that kind of a person who listens, or am that kind of a person? Sijui kama ushaikuwa na mtu rafiki yako, ukianza kuongea anajua story yako na si yeye ameanza, anakuambia hiyo najua, anataka kuendeleza story. This is one of the characteristics of people who cannot listen.
What is the statistics or the ratio of listening to talking?
Sorry?
What is the statistics? They say you listen how many and you talk how many? In terms of ratio.
In terms of ratio.
The percentage of listening to hearing, no, to talking.
You're talking about the time that, you know, it was mentioned by the CEO of Samsung, and then he said like this. It takes 3 years to speak, but 60 years to listen. And of course, people talk. I don't know whether you are that talking kind of a person. You talk. And then you never give people a chance to listen. But people who listen, I'm telling you, as they listen, they learn a lot.
Good. As you listen, you learn a lot. That is so true and profound. Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 2144. We'll be back shortly.
Na Cynthia unaongea sana.
The moment we receive the word of God in our heart, from that moment, God starts working in our life. So the four lepers, they did not have hope. In fact, when you see them, they were so weak, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. So when you see from the Bible, Jesus, he became their hope. And Jesus can become our hope when we have no hope.
Warm welcome to Women's View. This is the show that we entertain you and educate you at the same time.
So, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur. I have won an award as a shoe plug of the year in 2022. I thank God for that.
So I don't think men will just give money freely. Wengine wako na intention mbaya. Unaweza enda, and I think kitambo people used to date openly.
Yeah.
So surprising our young girls wanajua mambo ya BNB.
Each time a woman stands up for herself, without knowing it possibly, without claiming it, she stands up for all women. And I would like to remember, to remind women, I don't know which camera I would be pointing at, that one, love yourself. You are worth so much. Yes, love yourself.
Welcome back, viewer, to Chungu cha Jamii. Today we are talking about white-collar jobs versus entrepreneurship. What is your take on that? Do you prefer white-collar job? Do you prefer entrepreneurship? And what have you been able to learn so far? Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So now, as we are also getting to the final stage of this program of today, talking about white-collar jobs versus entrepreneurship. During the break, as we were discussing, and there is the term of diversity. Listening to my sister here, I can pick from her school of thought of contentment, as I quote her. You ought to. I've heard this from different people. They say that you'd rather invest your time to one career, water it, take care of it, garden it until it grows. It's like a plant or a tree. If you want to see the fruits of it, you have to cultivate it, nurture it, and do everything for it until you see it bloom and gives you the fruits. That is for one plant. And there is this other person who would say, I'd rather water 10, 20 different plants, and whichever thrives, I'll eat that fruit, than stay here waiting for this one that will take, like the bamboo tree that takes 7 years to grow underground and whatever years to see it coming up. Now this one will say, I'd rather water these 20 different plants and also eat 20 different fruits at different seasons. So this brings me to the question of diversity. Where do we settle in, and how would you talk now to you as a teacher? How would you now, having these two students, of one who want to water many trees and one who wants to just cultivate one? Is it limit for this one? Is he or she limiting herself, or is this one too ambitious on being diverse? How do you marry the two in the sense of them to be contented in what they're doing, or one to marry the other?
Okay, ironically, I'm from both schools of thought. The first one, you can major on one field and do it perfectly. Like if you're an accountant, you get the certifications, you open an accounting firm, you just pursue accounting like all your life. But then again, the workforce is very dynamic and it's ever changing. Initially, like we had manual advertising, we now have social media influencers, digital creators, web designers, and so forth. So if you have the chance, you can venture even into 3 careers. Already I'm an HR and I'm at the education sector, but I want to add another one. I want to venture into law. And again, I do have my own side hustle. So as long as God can allow you and have the energy, you can explore. Yes.
From that school of thought, what is your take before I add something?
Okay, so as she said, the world currently is running too fast. It's moving too fast. There's so much technological advancements, and you'd find some job careers are slowly being eradicated. Exactly. Like for example, in the past or olden days, we used to have secretaries. These days, it's so hard to find like a secretary or somebody who's going to carry everything around. Paperwork has been reduced. Now you find people have files. Like for example, I don't know. I'll think about it. But like, yes, like secretarial jobs. It's currently they're not
job marketable.
Exactly. Like they've already, that time is over rather. Like the season has run out. People have like developed, and so you see, for somebody like for example, if I did the secretary department, and I find I'd go back to school. You see, so that now that like I'd accept when you said you water many plants, but as for me, for something that, for example, IT will never run out, regardless of how many people join the career path. There's cybersecurity, there's data analytics. There's so many fields that you can work in that will never work out. We're coming up with robots, electric cars. We still need people to develop them. So regardless, the jobs will never run out.
So in short, you should look for jobs that do not run out, or rather venture into something.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. As we're talking about diversity, as I come to you, Mr. Benjamin, one of my seniors, who also happened to be my mentor, says this: I'd rather have you spend the whole day doing one specific thing and polish on it than doing multiple different things and by the end of it don't deliver. When he says like this, he always quotes this: be an eagle who masters how to fly.
Thank you.
Than being a duck who is famous for nothing. What is your take on that?
For me, I'll talk about this in the biblical perspective.
Sure.
You know, when the children of Israel were coming from Egypt, you know, God promised them the land of Canaan.
Sure.
But you can imagine that land of Canaan was not like a city. And even if it was a city, it wasn't their city. So which means there are challenges and difficulties for them. Then at one point, he was able to speak to them and say like this: if I'm allowed, I can read one verse and then I'll talk about it.
Sure.
To connect with that, what your mentor says. You know, in the book of Exodus chapter 23, it says, I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. By little and little I will drive them out from before thee until thou be increased and inherit the land. This is what it means. You know, yes, of course, diversity is very important.
Sure.
But diversity, when you do not have self-control in your heart, is a very big problem. You know, when God was leading these children of Israel, for sure he promised them something that even you'd want to do that. Honey and milk and honey, isn't it? A land flowing with milk and honey. That is what everybody is looking for. That is what our lecturer is looking for. That's why she wants to diversify and change these to reach that point. But now God is giving them some instructions. I will not give it to you once, because there are beasts that will multiply and they will devour you. But I want to give it to you little by little. So he would give them and allow them to increase and dominate. Again, increase, dominate, until to the extent that now they become owners of that. When you look at yourself and you look at the young people that we have today, I'm not saying you're like them, but you find them, I want to do this, it is not working. I want to do that, it is not working. So they're like the dark. But I do this and I become a professional in that. There are no loopholes whatsoever. I do another, I become a professional in that. There are no loopholes. So there is no way that anything can come and destroy what I have. That's why you see, even the people who are successful, they did not start big. They started small and then they were growing. As they grow, there are many challenges that they meet and they overcome. They meet and they overcome. Now, the biggest problem is that the young people that we have, they have a very weak heart. That's why they try something, they meet with difficulties, they want to give up.
Sure.
They do away with that, now they want to start another. Because the goal is what? A land flowing with milk and honey. But they don't know. In between, there are many challenges and difficulties. That's why they have to learn the word of the heart, and they have their hearts become very strong to collide with difficulties and challenges, and then they keep on moving. You understand?
Every time I hear you, when you're talking about the world of the heart and challenges and difficulties, you always say challenges and difficulties are good for us.
They are good food for your heart, to make it more stronger.
And you say if you don't like them, then you have a weak heart. But now, just talking like a normal person. Not that I'm saying those who have learned the world of the heart are not normal, but just normal for someone who doesn't know the world of the heart. Layman. Layman should be the correct maybe frame to use or word.
Okay.
When you are saying challenges are good and difficulties, for a layman person or language, do you want to go through challenges and difficulties? Really?
You know, Eunice, when you see the people, everybody loves these guys who have are masculine. They have big muscles and the chest, they have cubes. Everybody loves that, isn't it? I'm not talking about men, I'm talking about women. They love them. And even men, like Moredi here, he would love to be, that's why you see boys even making some weightliftings. When they begin, it has a lot of difficulties. It's painful, isn't it? But after some few days, they get used to that. And then they're very strong, isn't it? So people think that meeting with difficulties, colliding with difficulties will actually, especially the young people, they think I'll die now. But as they collide and overcome, their hearts become very strong. They become masculine in the world of the heart. They can overcome anything, anytime. And because of that, some things, that's why you need to connect with God. And sometimes, I was talking to another person just the other day, and then I was telling him, many people think that when they are so comfortable, they can think about God, and God is close to them. But when I look in the Bible, there are many places that God says He is close to the people who have a broken and a contrite spirit, which means good things cannot break your heart. Hard and difficulties, hardships, difficulties, they break your heart. And then God says, I am close to that kind of a person. That time He will make you to overcome. You will collide and overcome. But people, they left God and then they meet with challenges. The end result, they commit suicide. The end result of the young people, femicide. And then people are shouting everywhere, we don't understand. They left God. That's why I would want to tell them, go back to the Bible.
Go back to the Bible, it is. We are running out of time. I want us to give your parting shot, maybe starting with you.
Okay, it has been a pleasure here we can do it again some other time. And for our viewers, nice noon. Thank you.
Thank you. And to you, Mr. Benjamin, what would you
For me, I
be
would
a
tell
parting
people
shot?
like this. Yes, we love comfort, we love to be at peace, but why are we not at peace? Why are we not at the comfort zone? It is simply because of this one thing. The Bible says, my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters. So that fountain of living waters is where we left. So the other thing that we need to do is to return. Once we return, everything becomes easy, everything becomes comfortable. We get the true peace that we need.
Thank you. And to you, what is your parting shot?
My parting statement is, I feel like consistency is key. Like the more you do something, the more you get used to it, the more you become good at it. So the more you're consistent, I feel like at the end of the day, what you want to achieve, you will achieve it eventually.
Consistency is the key, and accepting challenges build your muscles. Let's continue this conversation online across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. Till next time, have a nice time.
Everywhere. GBS. Everywhere. GBS.
The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is there